Hi there, I'm Sholalit. Welcome to Prioritizing with Purpose. In our last episode, our take home was the understanding that the wisdom of His will encapsulates knowing what to do, knowing where to be, who to work with, and the accurate timing for all God-inspired actions. And that leads us to what we are going to be talking about today, and it's in the term yieldedness. Oh yes, yieldedness. Where you are today is a function or a product of how yielded you have been to the things of the Spirit. Where you are today is a function of how yielded to the promptings of the Spirit in your life. Okay, and I've also heard folks try to mystify the concept and the subject of knowing the will of God and doing the same in the believer's life. But there's nothing as further away from the truth as that, because once we have exercised our faith in the redemption, in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, the Spirit of God is now permanently resident in you. So that means the activating force of the Spirit of God is there to be able to cause a desire and also an ability towards the work of God. So what happens when we do not do that which we are supposed to do? First off, Philippians 2:13, Apostle Paul says, "It is God that works in you both to will and to do of His good pleasure." Very powerful. So here, God is taking ownership of the machinery for the fulfillment of His good pleasure in your life. He says, so whenever there is a thought, whenever there's a desire, whenever there's a will towards the good pleasure of His will, it means it is God that is at work inside of you. Right there, it is God that is suggesting that. It is the Spirit of God that is prompting you to do the same. So what happens when we're not able to do that, or we fall short of same? It's because we were not yielded to that which the Spirit was prompting us to do. You see that now? And I'm reminded of a prayer program that I'm in right now. It's different from what I do when I wake up in the day and I'm praying and I'm studying and doing all of that. It's a particular time that I was prompted in my spirit to begin to pray. Now, how did that start? It started from a thought, okay, wherein the Spirit of God is saying, I think you're going to be able to cover a lot of grounds as touching ministry in this season that you're in if you wake up in so and so time and you begin to deal with some things in prayer. And the more I entertained the thought, the more I began to explore mentally the implications of the practice of what the thought was suggesting, the more my will against the practice of it was now being suppressed by the increasing strength of the thought in my heart. So I thought about it long enough, and all that was left was the strength, the desire, and the willingness to do the same. And it happens both ways. Okay, the devil also comes in as a thought. When a thought comes from the devil like that, what happens is, for the times you obeyed it, you were entertaining the thought. The more you thought about it, the more you explored mentally the implications of the practice of that corrupt wisdom. Your will was now being suppressed by the increasing strength of the thought in your heart. And it all started because you entertained the thought. So the same way, it is important that we understand that when the thought to give comes, it is not the devil that does that. The flesh does not encourage you to give to that building project that is happening in your local assembly. It is not the devil that is suggesting, that you forgive. It is not the flesh that is telling you to close your shop early so that you can give more time to prayer and study. It's not the devil that is telling you, to make sure that you do not miss evangelism no matter what, when next Saturday comes. It is the Spirit of God that is telling you that. And the more we listen to that, the more the thought begins to gain strength in our heart, to the point where all that is left is the zeal, to do that which God wants us to do. Okay, so how then do we increase yieldedness? We increase yieldedness by yielding ourselves to the place of prayer. When we yield more to the place of prayer and study, the more we have put ourselves in a vantage point, to yield ultimately to the different areas where God will want us to do something for Him. And I hope I've helped you in this one. My desire for you is that you would also yield to prayer and consequently yield, to the work of God. God has blessed you.